This video is going to be about using the graph editor in After Effects. So I'm going to jump into After Effects. The graph editor is a massively important tool to use with your animations. Probably it's going to be the most important tool for what you're doing. So what I've got here is I've created a rectangle. And first what I'm going to show you is, rather than having to twist all this down and go to transform, the quick keys, if you've got it highlighted, is you can go A for anchor point and it pops up. I can hit P for position, S for scale, and R for rotation. Opacity, instead of being O, it's T. If you want to add more of these, then you just hold the shift key down. So if I hold down shift and hit P, it will add in the position as well. Shift, S, and it'll add in the scale. So I'm going to close that up. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with the rectangle that I've drawn, you can see that the center point is right out here and I want it in the rectangle. So if I hit the Y key, that automatically takes you to the pan behind tool. I can grab this now, drag it, and pop it in the center. I'm back at the beginning of the timeline, so I'm going to hit P, position. I'm going to keyframe it and then move the playhead along to 1 second. And I need to get the arrow tool, which is just the V key. Hit V. I move it. And we can see it's automatically put in the other keyframe. Now if I want to duplicate this, I have it highlighted, I go Command D, so I've duplicated it, and I'm going to go U, which shows all of the keyframes that I've used. If I select all those keyframes, I can now come up here with the arrow tool, click on my shape, and I can drag it down. So if I hit the spacebar to play, I've got these two and they're exactly the same. Click up here to stop it playing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play with the graph editor. I'm going to play with it on this bottom one. So I've got that there. So I'll come in here and I'm going to click on the icon for the graph editor. And depending on what I click on here, it's going to show the position attributes. Now with this, if I click on the 3 lines here, it's going to fill that space with what I'm looking at. I can hit the magnify or decrease, and it's going to make it a bit smaller, a bit larger. So this shows that it's just a straight line, so it's just a linear movement. This option down here that says choose the graph type and options, if I click on it, sometimes it's on auto select, but usually it will jump to whatever one you're using. So at the moment it's on the speed graph. So I've got that. Now what I can do is, if I grab this point and drag it down, I can use the shift key to make it constrained to those points. It won't go below 0, because what this is looking at, let's reduce it down a little bit. Show the whole thing. So what it's doing is it's showing the speed. So it's starting at 0, and you can see it goes up to 1,000 pixels. So over here it's more like 1,000 pixels. So what's going to happen is it's going to start off slowly, and then it's going to get a bit faster. So if we play it now, you can see the difference. If I pull this Bezier handle out, and what you'll notice, if you have a look, you can see the dots on the movement, and they're closer here at this end, and they're further apart. Where they're closer, it's going to go slower, and then it's going to pick up speed. So I can exaggerate that motion. I'll just show the whole graph again so you can see it. Play. So it starts off really slow, and then it fires up. The other thing you can do is if you double click on one of the points, you can actually put in the attribute. So outgoing, the way it starts, the speed is on 0, so I can change that, and the influence is on 0.1%, so I'm going to put it on 50. We'll go OK, and it's going to change the curve down here. If I double click, you've also got the incoming velocity, so it's going to stop again on 0, and maybe I'll put that on 60. And so you can see what's happening now is with this curve, it's going to start off slowly, increase in speed, and then it's going to slow down. Again, we can exaggerate that curve if we want. So now it's going to go really slow and speed up in the middle. So let's play it. So if I push this right back here, you can see it's going to start off really fast and slow down. Press the spacebar again. At the moment, there's no motion curve on it, so if I click this here, enables motion, then I can come down and I can click the motion. You can see the blur coming in, so we'll leave it so that one doesn't have the blur and the other one does. You can see how it stops that jitteriness and it gets a bit more realistic. I'll put motion on the top one as well. So stop that. So the curves can be controlled really excessively. So this one I'm going to push it all the way back. This one I'm going to push it right out. And you can see with this, the speed's going to be right up fast, but it's going to start off really slow. So it's going to speed up right at the end. So they're the same length. They're basically finishing at exactly the same point, but the curve is so exaggerated now. So let's pop this back. So with this now, you can see that it's going to start off fast, really slow, and then speed up at the end. Again, we'll press the space bar. It slows down so much it almost looks like it's stopping. With this, if I double click on it again, you can see the speed's got nothing there, so I'm going to put in 100, tab, and over here for the outgoing, 100, so I've got the same. I'll go OK, and it brings it back to just being a straight line. Even though these points are down here, they're not having any effect over the influence. So when I play it, it's back to looking normal. These could be pushed back up if I want. It's not going to make any difference, not until those Bezier handles are pulled out for the influence.